Hello, 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 and welcome to the Conversation with Stevie. This is the place where we uncover the why behind the what of what people do. I am Dr. Stevie Aisha Mills, and I love helping my clients who are subject matter experts to use their expertise and experience to increase their income online. Today, listen, it is dripping and blue and gold up in here because I have my Aggie sis, Tiffani Teachey, in the building. What's going on, Tiffani?
Hello, and thank you. Yes, Aggie Pride, yes, representing. So thank you for having me. I'm excited.
You're so welcome. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, well, my name is Tiffani Teachey. I'm an engineer, a senior mechanical engineer who became a STEM children's book author of What Can I Be? STEM Careers from A to Z. So I'm a STEM advocate as well, as a TEDx speaker and a publishing consultant with Inspired Authors Publishing Agency. And so I'm excited to be able to continue to help others, not only just myself, be able to create children's books, and so turn their career industry into a children's book. And so that is me. That is me.
Awesome. I love the fact that you are in STEM, but for the people who may not know what that is, can you go ahead and break that down for us?
Yes, thank you for that, because I sometimes forget. These acronyms, especially as an engineer, I'm good for just doing acronyms. So, yes, STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Math. And some of y'all might have heard of STEAM, which they add the A, which is Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Math. But it's just a way to try to challenge our kids through math and science to learn how to be able to problem solve. And so that's ideally what the goal is, to try to challenge their minds and allow them to learn how to problem solve with the world around us. Yep.
Perfect. And I have a question. Since you did bring up STEAM, how do STEM and STEAM correlate? Like, how is art involved in science and math and technology?
Right. And so I can say, actually, I'm a mechanical engineer. My brother, he's a civil engineer. He's actually he went to North Carolina A&T as well. And so, but both of us are engineers. And so the music side of things, the thing is, we also did music. And so I played an instrument. And so the arts part can play a role with challenging the mind. There's numbers involved. The math is involved. And so when you talk about the STEM and STEAM side of things, the art side, it's a creative side of things. Who would have thought? I've actually used the art side by becoming an author. So I'm a STEM children's book author. So that's a combination of tying in different ways to be creative. And so it's more of tying in the STEM side as well as how arts can play a role with tying in the creative side alongside with the, problem-solving side of things that you can pull from STEM and STEAM. And so that's really what when you talk about adding the A part of it in. It can be, like I said, you use real-world problems to be able to tackle it from a math and science standpoint, and then add the art is the creative side of it, is how I look at it.
I love that because I always say that when numbers and letters started mixing up in problems, that's when I checked out.
Yes, the word problems.
Yes. I'm like, what? But I love the fact that the right brain and left brain part of this all correlate, because some of us are on either side of the brain, right? And we need that other part to go ahead and strengthen us. So I love that now people are really paying attention to that in a different way.
Yep, and that's key.
Go ahead.
No, that's key. That's ideally if you can try to think of ways to challenge, because you have those different children. You can't put them in a box. You can't put a child in a box. And so if you see that in them, try to see how you can challenge them in that manner. And so that's what I would say, definitely.
That's awesome. And so I know that you also do that with your children's books. So I love the fact that you really have your book dedicated to people really helping their children to do this. So please tell us more about the books that you have.
Okay. Yeah, so my book started off because I go and talk to the kids, and I'm asking them, how many's been an engineer? And so I'm going to talk, show them about engineering, how it's fun, and then do hands-on activities. And a lot of them can't raise their hands, but by the time they've done that, they can raise their hands. And so that was when I decided I need to put it in writing. Representation matters. And so I said, let me tie in STEM. I sort of wanted to be a writer, but I didn't know when or what. So I said, why don't I use what I'm passionate about? And so I wrote the book, What Can I Be? STEM Careers from A to Z. I learned the process through a Facebook best-selling authors challenge. And so I learned the process of how to publish a book. So I self-published a book. It's called What Can I Be? STEM Careers from A to Z, which is an alphabet book. It's showing from A is for astronaut all the way to Z is for zoologist. And I didn't want to just do engineering. I did STEM with all the different types of careers. And it's just a simple illustration to encourage them to see themselves in these types of careers. It's a good starting point. Kids get to start asking questions. You can pull some research afterwards. You can do some hands-on activities, like, for example, robotics engineers in there. They can start doing some robotics, do some coding, different things, and just challenge them. And so since then, I've been able to turn it into a color and activity book, a guided journal, a teacher's guide, as well as translated in Spanish, French, and Swahili. And so the sky's the limit on how I've utilized this book and how I can bundle them and get them into different combinations of how kids can get exposed to it. But it's a good starter to just get them start thinking, utilizing their minds. And so it's been awesome just being able to see the smiles on their face and seeing the transformation from them as well.
That is so exciting, specifically those different translations, because that means that no child is left behind. And I know even in the work that I do with literacy, a lot of times adults who are not able to read at specific levels, they utilize children's books to help them read more. So I know that beyond the children, the book can be used for those people too. So that's very exciting. Tell us about the publishing side, please. I would love to know what type of people you're looking to work with for that.
Yes. And so since becoming an author, I get asked a lot of, how can I publish my book? How can I do this and that? So I decided to create Inspired Authors Publishing Agency. And so last year I did that. And so I had the opportunity. I've now been able to help children. I focus on children's books because that's what I know. I have been a part of women empowerment books as well, but my passion is trying to get more similar industry business leaders who now could take their career and put it into a children's book so they can learn about their path. And so that's the route I've kind of done. So like I said, I've learned how to do children's books. I'm able to help others be able to turn their story into a children's book, a color and activity book, journals. So the sky's the limit, and I can speak to it because I've experienced it. And so now it's just adding other people. And I've had clients, and they've been excited to be able to now say they're a published author. So definitely it's a great opportunity to be able to tell your story and get it in writing and get it published so others, especially kids, can get exposed to it as well. And so that's what I do. Like I said, Inspired Authors Publishing Agency. And I do have a free gift for those that want to try to get into it. But I don't know if you want me to get into it now. But definitely trying to help them get exposed to try to get published and get them started is where I want to get them going with.
Perfect. We'll be collecting your contact information in just a few moments.
Okay.
One of the things I wanted to ask you definitely is, because you said that your sibling is an engineer too. Were your parents into math and science and engineering? Great
question. No, my parents were. My mom was an educator, a teacher. She's a retired school teacher, reading lab, so nothing tied with math and science. So she made sure that we were involved with the Math and Science Saturday Academy. And so my dad was an entrepreneur. So it's kind of cool that it comes full circle. And his client at one point was a civil engineer. And so he said, why don't you get your kids into engineering? It's a great field. And so that's called social capital. Who would have thought? And so even with the industry that he's in, his client was able to tell him that. And then with the industry, my mom being a teacher, being exposed to the Math and Science Saturday Academy got us into it. I initially wanted to be a lawyer, debate, do all that. But when I saw the value of problem solving, math and science, now I was challenged in math, but I was that girl in school asking the questions in the front of the class, not trying to get intimidated by the boys because it is a male-dominated field. And so, no, my parents, neither one, but they were blessed to be able to have both my brother and I become engineers. And so we've been this journey together, and it's just been an awesome experience, especially through National Society of Black Engineers. That organization has been ideal, and we both have gone in that. And so being exposed to those type of organizations has been very helpful in this type of career and field itself. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so what would you say to a young lady who's like, I don't know if I'm smart enough to be in this field? What would you encourage her to do?
I would tell her, let's work on getting you a role model, get you a mentor, get you someone who can maybe help you and see that you can do it, and just let you know you're just as competent, you're just as smart, and don't let anybody tell you differently. Like I said, I was that girl in school where they would be tempted to be able to tear you down like you're not as smart, especially in the math and science type of fields. And so I'm encouraging them to say, you're just as worthy. Don't let imposter syndrome get to you. You deserve to be in that space, and don't let anybody else tell you differently.
I love it. So one of the questions we ask everyone who comes to the conversation with Stevie is a fill-in-the-blank question. So it literally goes like this. Dr. Stevie, we cannot leave the conversation today without everyone knowing, and please fill in the blank.
Knowing that you can be anything that you put your mind to, and don't let anybody tell you differently. There's a quote by, I'm probably got a longer sentence. There's a quote by Shirley Chisholm that says, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. And so know that regardless of whatever path you go, don't let anybody tell you differently that you can't be there. You can be anything you put your mind to. So if you want to become a children's author just like myself, the sky's the limit. And definitely don't let anybody tell you otherwise. It can happen. I'm a living testimony of it.
Perfect. So we are ending soon, but before we go, we've got to get your contact information.
Okay. Well, definitely if you're interested in getting your books published, if you can see yourself with a target audience of a children's book, definitely come to me, publishtherightbook.com. Publishtherightbook.com. That'll get you exposed to me. If you want a discovery call, Tiffani Teachey calls.com. And, of course, if you want a STEM book, as far as the ebook, top 10 STEM scholarships and organizations, go to STEMistheway.com. So definitely check them out. It's a great opportunity to get you exposed. So, and then I'm also on different platforms, definitely at Tiffani Teachey. So check me out on the different social media platforms. Thanks.
Perfect. So you all have heard from her. Tiffani Teachey has been in the building. Listen, Yay. Y'all need to go ahead and connect because she is amazing. She is brilliant, and she's an Aggie. So you know I got to tell that part too. Thank you, Tiffani, for being here today. Yay!
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome. If you all need to reach out to me, just realize that you just need to spell my first name correctly, Stevii, and you can go to workwithstevie.com. I love helping subject matter experts use their expertise and experience to increase their income online. I always end everything I say by saying, make it a great day. Don't have a great day. Make it a great day. Why? Because you. And, yes, you, too, have the power to do so. Bye for now.